Hello, I'm Pat Hogan, founder of the CMB Regional Centers. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to attend this seminar to find out about our EB-5 opportunities. CMB staff will soon talk to you about the technicalities associated with the EB-5 investment. The basic components of law in an EB-5 are the same no matter what regional center you work with. So what makes one regional center different than another? You have just heard the basic history of CMB and EB-5 from my colleagues, but there are a vast number of reasons I believe CMB is completely different than any other regional center today. CMB was the second regional center in the history of the EB-5 program. When I set up the CMB Regional Center in 1997, there were no models of previous regional centers to refer to. There was no manual. There was no formal application. Regional center principals were expected to figure out what, at the time, the INS wanted in a regional center application. From the very beginning, I thought about the EB-5 program backwards. The ultimate goal of any EB-5 applicant is the green card. Notice, I did not say EB-5 investor, for it is my opinion this is not an investment program. The EB-5 program is a jobs creation program, and I do not believe it can be considered an investment program. The rules of EB-5 are such that you have to create 10 jobs with $500,000. I submit to you that is an impossible task. The job creation must last over an approximate 3 years. A quick analysis shows with a minimum of only $500,000, you have to have 10 people in a full-time position, with every worker earning $40,000 a year, and then add the various taxes that the government places on payroll. A company would run out of money within the first year. In thinking backwards, I knew EB-5 investors' funds must be connected with some other source of funding to help create the jobs needed to attain the goal of 10 new American jobs for every investor. For an investor to reach his final goal of the green card, two things must be proven at the final stage. That final stage is called the I-829 petition. The two things are, did the investor in fact create the 10 new American jobs, and is the investor still in the investment? The fact that the investor is still in the investment, that's easy to prove. However, it's not easy to prove that the investment created 10 new American jobs. Proof of how hard it is to create 10 new American jobs is in the denials of the I-829 petitions that exist right now for investors in other regional centers. I always thought if I built a program that was safe for the investors by proving the jobs methodology for 10 new American jobs, I would accomplish two tasks. My investors would get their ultimate goal, and I would make a profit. In the very first CMB project, back in the year 1999, we predicted the investment would create over 1,200 new American jobs. We are one of the few regional centers where someone can look back and say, it's now 2013. What happened back in 1999? Did CMB create the 1,200 jobs? Our proof is at the intersection of Mill Street and Tippecanoe at the former Norton Air Force Base. This is the epicenter of our original investment and today the site of thousands of jobs. The 1,200 jobs that we predicted with our methodology back in 1999 were certainly attained by Kohl's Western Distribution Warehouse, Pep Boys, Medline, Pactiv, and other companies locating there. More importantly, we have developed a jobs methodology that in the very beginning, everyone said I was crazy. I would not get my investors their initial approval on the I-526. When I received my first I-526 approval, the same naysayers said CMB won't get the I-829 final approval. But CMB investors did receive the final I-829 approval. As a matter of fact, all my clients who have filed an I-829 petition have been approved. Proof of that right here, this is an award CMB received. one of 4 regional centers who received this award for attaining I-829 petitions for their investors. Remember, I said only one of 4. Today, you have heard the statistics that we have a 100% success rate when it comes to EB5 projects. And our I-924 exemplar petitions, and most importantly, we have a 100% success rate on the final approval of our I-829s. Our methodologies are so strong, we have never been asked a question on an 829 petition. Other regional centers will tell you they have a 100% success rate. I've seen it on their websites. I've seen the 100% success rate in their advertisements. And it's just simply not true. How do I know it's not true? Because I have their investors from their failed projects. They are now investors in our CMB Regional Center projects. In fact, 20% of our investors today come from failed regional centers. It's quite an amazing statistic. If you think about it, the largest market for investors is China, but the second largest market for CMB is not a country. It's failed regional centers. What it says is those that have chosen other regional centers and ended up in trouble, they come to CMB to fix their problems. You have a complex choice to make. In 2007, there were 11 regional centers, and of those 11, maybe 5 were actually active. Today, there are approximately 350 regional centers. How can you possibly make a decision when you have 350 choices? Again, thinking backwards, why in 2007 were there only 11 regional centers, and why are there now 350 regional centers? The answer is quite simple. In 2008, when the capital markets collapsed, many projects that could not find funding utilizing the traditional sources of revenue became regional centers. Incorrectly, they thought that foreign national capital was going to be a way of funding a project that nobody else would fund. CMB is unique in many ways, but it's up to you to figure that out. I've said it before, and I will say it again. Every time a regional center, including CMB, tells you something, you need to do your due diligence. Make them prove what they say is true. Sometimes the due diligence need not be anything more than a simple research on the principal. As an example, in the failed Chicago Regional Center, the principal was 29 years old. He told people he had 15 years experience in the hotel business. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to do the mathematics on that. Apparently, he was running hotels when he was 14 years old. More often than not, the due diligence requires much more than just reading the materials. You need to ask questions and ask tough questions. And in the handout that you will be given today, there are questions that we propose you ask every regional center, including us. CMB has never had a failure at the I-526 project level, and never a failure at the final stage, the most important stage, the I-829, which gives you your permanent green card. Another question you should ask is, how many regional centers have taken investors from the very beginning to the end, all the way through the process, where the investor has received their money back? I believe today there are only 2 regional centers that can say that the investors in the entire partnership have been paid back fully on a project. Of those 2 regional centers, CMB is the only regional center that can say they have a 100% success rate, and CMB is the only regional center that can say they paid their investors back more than 2 years early on the project. There is much turmoil in the EB5 business today. You have heard of many failures whereby investors have not only failed to receive their money back, but have also not received the immigration benefit promised, the permanent green card. I'm here to tell you that I have built CMB with the investor's success in mind, and that success is defined as the foreign national getting the green card and their original capital back, and when possible, getting their capital back earlier than what is stated in the loan agreement. As of today, I have been successful in doing that. When you are looking at projects from other regional centers, have they achieved what CMB has achieved for hundreds of people? I want you to understand something. CMB has built every project basically the same. We have the same safety in all our projects in that we invest with a government entity or an extremely well-known developer, and we collateralize the capital such that in the event of default, the investor has recourse. Additionally, we use a spending model under which jobs are created when the money is spent. As we sit here today, I can tell you that in the very unlikely event that any one of the projects that CMB has put forth goes into bankruptcy, the investor could very well lose their money. But because of the spending model, they will get the ultimate benefit, their green card. Nearly every one of our projects has a completion guarantee, which means that the monies will be spent. This structure is another protection feature that many other regional centers do not have. You should ask every regional center, how do I get out of this investment? What's the exit strategy? CMB enters into a simple loan agreement, and at 6 years, our borrower must repay. And if they do not, we have recourse. CMB is built into the loan documents an interest rate increase that makes the borrower want to repay us. Today, you will hear the basics of EB5, the history of CMB, and its 100% success rate. And most importantly, you will be told about the new project CMB is bringing to the market as a vehicle for you to obtain your EB5 permanent green card. We have a wonderful, experienced, competent staff. CMB is now approximately 35 employees, and the employees of CMB speak a tremendous number of different languages. CMB is truly a global company. While the Chinese market is our single largest market, CMB has investors originating from 65 different countries. Because CMB is rapidly growing and I cannot be present at each informational event like this one, I have produced this video to show you the passion that I have for the EB5 program and to introduce myself. I have been in the EB5 field for approximately 20 years, well before the advent of regional centers. There is no other regional center owner or principal that has been in EB5 longer than I have. I believe if you're looking for an EB5 investment, you should look to a program, its history, and actions, not merely words. What I mean is, what has the regional center accomplished? What's their track record? Look into their history, not solely to what they say. What is the character of the company, its employees, and most importantly, the founder and the owner of the company? At the end of the year, CMB regional centers will have well over 2,000 investors and over 1,000 approved I-526 petitions. We'll be approaching 150 to 200 I-829s. The goal we are most proud of and is utmost priority is we expect to pay back our Group B and our Group 1 projects early, which would mean that all of the clients in the first 3 projects CMB has undertaken have received their I-526, their 829, and their money back. Last year, we did not have a project to promote for about 7 months simply because no project lived up to the expectations that I have set to qualify that project as a CMB project. Because of our successful track record, we are presented approximately 10 projects a week. It takes time to vet a project to determine if it would qualify as a CMB project. This year has been quite different. What a turnaround. We will release approximately $750 million into various CMB projects, which incorporates funds raised from both the end of 2012 and 2013. This represents approximately 1,500 investors. The turnaround from one year to the next is simply because we have partnered up with incredible developers like Hillwood and IRG, both of whom have over 80 million square feet of real estate under roof. These are very experienced developers, and we have confidence that their projects are sound and have a great collateral base so that our investors are safe. I believe the projects being presented to you today have the same attributes as the approximate 30 previous CMB projects. We really haven't changed anything in our basic structure. The USCIS recognizes how successful CMB is. In the Field Adjudicator's Manual, it mentions CMB by name as the capital expenditure model that the adjudicators can look to. This is quite an accomplishment, and was uncovered because under our government, we can ask for documents. The organization IIUSA asked to get a copy of the Field Adjudicator's Manual, and in this manual, we found CMB mentioned by name. We were the only regional center mentioned. I can promise you this, if you invest with CMB, you get something that no other regional center can offer, and that's me. I'm a fighter, and I'll fight for you. I'll fight to achieve your ultimate goal, which is your green card and your original capital back. I am not promising you a great profit. As a matter of fact, you'll make very little profit on the new commercial enterprise. However, I will make the CMB investment as safe as I possibly can under the law. CMB does have one fault in the EB5 marketplace, and that's our projects sell out quickly. Therefore, I urge you not to wait. Please ask for the materials on each one of the CMB projects. You should review them thoroughly and make a decision soon. There are many reasons for urgency in making your decision other than the project's predicted sellout. The United States is undergoing immigration reform, and we have no idea what may come about under this reform. I am a member of the IIUSA board, and I am very politically connected. I will tell you, both the congressional and senatorial proposed changes in EB5 are calling for an increase in the amount of investment under the EB5 program. I do not use this as a scare tactic to get you to invest now. Rather, it's a piece of information that is simply true. I urge you to pick a CMB project and file for your I-526 petition as soon as possible, because once you have the receipt notice of the petition on file, your costs will be locked in, and so will the petitions of all of your children under the age of 21. I thank you again for attending our seminar, and I'm sure my staff is ready to tell you about the exciting current and upcoming EB5 projects CMB has to offer. Thank you.